Okay, I need you to stop scrolling right now. Because what just happened on Days of Our Lives didn't just break my heart, it broke the entire storyline wide open in a way I did not see coming. The experiment failed. Lexie Carver is not coming back. Dr. Rolf Salem's most reliably unhinged scientist. The man who has cheated death more times than anyone on this show couldn't do it. The resurrection didn't take, and now we have E.J. DiMera and Paulina Price standing in the rubble of a plan that was never supposed to exist, facing the one person they should have told from the very beginning. Abe Carver knows, and he is furious. What actually happened, the plan that was never going to work. Let's lay this out clearly before we go deep. Because there are layers here that I think a lot of recaps are completely glossing over. EJ found Lexie, or more accurately, EJ found what he believed to be a path back to Lexie. He brought in Dr. Rolf, Salem's answer to every ethical question nobody asked, and together they cooked up a resurrection protocol. Paulina knew. She was in the room. She had doubts, remember. She was the one who asked, what if she wakes up and she's not her, but she stayed silent? And Abe Carver, Lexie's husband, the man who loved her, who buried her, who has spent years carrying that grief with a quiet dignity that honestly makes him one of the most underwritten characters on this show. Abe was kept completely in the dark. That's not a minor detail. That is the whole moral catastrophe of this storyline. When the experiment failed, when Rolf's machines went quiet and Lexie's body refused to respond, the first thing I thought wasn't, oh no, Lexie's gone again. It was Abe is going to find out what they did. And sure enough, he did. The explosion, Abe's rage, and why it's 100% justified. Let me be very direct here. Abe Carver has every right to be the angriest person in Salem right now. Every single right. Think about what was done to him. His wife, the woman he mourned, the woman whose memory he has protected and honored for years, was being used as the subject of a secret resurrection experiment. Without his knowledge, without his consent, by his own son's father and the woman he is currently in a relationship with. That last part, let that land for a second. Paulina, the woman Abe has let into his life, into his heart, into the space that Lexie left behind. Paulina knew about this and said nothing. I genuinely cannot overstate how much of a betrayal that is. This isn't a white lie. This isn't a surprise party gone wrong. This is Paulina watching E.J. DiMera play God with her partner's dead wife and deciding that Abe didn't deserve to be part of that conversation. And E.J., look, we expect this from E.J. We do. This is a man whose entire character history is built on the belief that his love for someone gives him permission to make unilateral decisions that affect everyone around them. He did it to Sami for years. He did it to Nicole. He's doing it now with Lexie's memory. E.J. DiMera loves hard and thinks later, and Salem has been paying for that personality flaw since the day he arrived. But Paulina, I held Paulina to a higher standard, and I think that's exactly why this hurts more. ROLF, the convenient scapegoat, nobody should let off the hook. Here's the part of this story that I think deserves way more attention than it's getting. Dr. Wilhelm Rolf. This man has been Salem's resident mad scientist for decades. He brought back Jack Devereaux. He brought back Will Horton. He kept Stefano DiMera running well past any reasonable expiration date. His track record is, by soap opera standards, actually pretty impressive. So when the experiment failed, when Lexie didn't come back, the question I keep asking myself is, why did it fail this time? Because here's what the show's doing. Whether intentionally or not, Dr. Rolf's failures are never random. They're always meaningful. When a Rolf experiment goes wrong in Salem, it's the show's way of saying that something wasn't supposed to happen. That there are limits, supernatural, moral narrative that even Rolf can't cross. Lexie Carver died of a brain tumor, a natural death, not a murder, not a villain scheme, not a sacrifice. She died because her body gave out. And I've been thinking about this a lot. There's a very strong argument that Lexie's death was, in the logic of this universe, one of the few real deaths Salem has ever had. It wasn't manufactured. It wasn't reversible by design. And maybe, just maybe, the show is saying that some deaths are supposed to stick. Rolf can reanimate a body that was violently taken. He cannot, apparently, reclaim someone who left on their own terms. That's actually profound storytelling, if the writers meant it. I'm choosing to believe they did. The failed resurrection is not a disappointment. I know that's a controversial thing to say. I know a lot of fans wanted Lexie back. I wanted Lexie back. She is one of the greatest legacy characters this show has ever produced. And Salem is a lesser place without her. But what the show is doing instead is something harder and more honest. It's making the characters face what they did. Face each other, and face the fact that love, even desperate. P.S. Demerit grade love doesn't always get to win. Abe's rage is the most important thing happening on this show right now. Not the science, not the supernatural explanation for why Rolf failed. Abe standing in that room, looking at EJ and Paulina, and asking, how could you... That's the scene. That's the whole episode. That's Days of Our Lives at its absolute best. Not the big twist